say, Dawson, right, I'm going to give you $5. Does that mean I'm going to give everybody else $5? Or is that going to give that just to Dawson?
If I don't repent of my sins and come to
Dawson, that's not what I asked you. I asked you if I say, Dawson, I'm going to give you $5. Does that apply to him? No. So it says, Israel, I'm going to punish you for your sins. Only Israel's getting punished for transgression of the laws of Moses. Y'all are not. So that's Dawson, I want you to follow me. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you talk to my brother. I want you to follow me. God said he... Hold on, bro. Stay in order.
You're taking stuff out of context.
What's crazy, though? What's crazy, bro? What's your name?
What's your name?
What's your brother's name? Brandon. Nobody's leading anybody astray. We're going point for point. We're going from the Old Testament all the way to the New Testament. We have a full concept. Don't do that, right? We're not deceived, right? No, you're deceived. That's the problem. We're literally reading the Bible, and you have a problem with the Bible.
I agree.
Brandon, you don't want to go there. That really is bad for you going there. That's Romans 5. That doesn't help you, right?
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
There's a really good podcast.
I know you're mad. I know you're mad because you're getting confounded. Yes, you are mad. You're trying to talk over the Bible. I thought you believe in God. I thought you believe in God, Brandon. I thought you believe in God, Brandon. I thought you. Y'all would know about that because Christianity is the biggest cult that's ever existed on the world.
Right.
So yeah, you would know all about that. Of course you would know about that. So like I said, you have a problem with the Bible. So I'm going to talk to him because he can actually hear, right? So it says this. Read this again, read verse 2.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
So what does that mean?
Brother, Jesus loves me just as much as he loves you.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Watch this. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 15 in the NLT. Yet the Lord loved your ancestors. Yet the Lord chose your ancestors as the object of his love. And he chose you, their descendants, above all other nations, as is evident today.
Dalton, what does that mean? What does that mean, Dalton? I thought he loves everybody. What does that mean?
I ain't even gonna lie. It makes me want to cry.
That's crazy. By reading the Bible, we're deceived. That's crazy. But no, Dalton, wait. Oh, Dalton, what does that mean then? Okay, Dalton. If he loves you, Dalton, no, you're not. Children of God are not sinners.
I'm not a sinner.
You just said you was a sinner.
I'm not a sinner. I'm saved. I'm bought by the blood.
But are you a sinner though?
We all fall short of the.
Are you a sinner? Are you a sinner? Are you a sinner? You don't care about us. Because if you did, you wouldn't talk about the Bible.
Every one of you.
Dawson, you don't like anybody, right?
Every one of you, I die for you.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 1. At the same time, says the Lord, will I be the God of all the families of Israel? Of Israel.
That's not you, right?
And they shall be my people.
Yeah, they shall what?
Be my people.
Is it Dawson's people?
My people.
The Israelites, right?
Answer me one question. Would you die
Now,
for me?
I have a question for y'all, right? Because y'all are saying love, love, love.
Would you die for me?
Now, I have a question. I wouldn't die for you. Why would I? But I have a question for you, Dalton. Whose land are you standing on right now? Where are you standing at right now?
I love you so much.
So you're stuck on repeat. Where are y'all standing right now?
I'm standing on.
In Texas, right? How was Texas annexed? It was stolen from the Mexicans, right? I know. So give me Isaiah 14:21.
Break it out.
Because see, they're good cop. I like to be bad cop. Because I'm not shaking your head. Are you crazy? Are you crazy?
Is that how the disciple of Christ is supposed to
Hey, give me Luke 19:27. Somebody get that right now. Right. Give me Luke 19:27. You hold that. Give me Luke 19:27. Because this person thinks Christ was a big old teddy bear. We need to cut your head off.
For me going crazy. I've been known to handle business, this shit different. Hit the slab at any minute. Hope my people get this message. Around the way, they need a blessing. So I load up with my niggas, we stay rolling. Highways and hedges, beat the signs and pay attention. Keep in order when we operate, you might just wanna listen. clock. Hop out the whip and shalom to God. Grab all the gear and unload the signs. Let's get this shit cracking, who on the line? And if it's the Sabbath, we short on time. Plus we know Yachty gon' cut a Christian. Sheeta might come asking if we Muslim. Bitch, do you see a bow tie and pies? Like we give a fuck if you about to cry. Your list of deceptions is itemized. Then she gon' ask if we believe in Christ. Yeah, but his name is Yahushua. Man, I can't wait till them chariots swang low. We tryna teach you who they came for. I know that you like to hold hands with the heathen. This is one place that they can't go.
Highways and hedges, highway and hedges,
God, shalom, 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 man. Look, we almost up out of here, bro. We are almost up out of here. Y'all give me like 1 second. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, bro. Just gotta share this. Share the video too, man. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, man. You know, if you love the brethren, share the video, man. If you really love the brethren, click that like button, leave a comment. I don't care if you're hating, I don't care if you're trolling, I don't care, right? You know, all it does is help me in the algorithm. All I got to do is see your comment and pretend like it doesn't exist. And I mean for those who are hating, right? Because, you know, at this point, at this juncture in what they call the Hebrew Israelite movement or belief system or culture, whatever you want to call it, if y'all don't understand that the people in these camps who actually go hazard our lives for the gospel's sake, if you don't think we're teaching the truth, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do, bro. You love Christianity, you might love white women, you might love what they say. You might love doing a whole bunch of different shenanigans, right, behind closed doors, but have fringes on, and then shalom us, right? You might like doing all those things. So if you got a problem with us, I don't know what to tell you, right? Because I'm gonna tell you it to you like this, bro. World War III is upon us, right? And it'd be a real shame. It'd be a real shame if you Hebrew Israelites start slacking off and then the peace talks come out of nowhere like that. Like, you know, that'll really piss me off. But as of right now, it's red hot, right? Red hot. Let me finish sharing this. I've been doing a lot of talking. Give me like 2 seconds, man. Hold up. Let me share this. I need to share this in the Christian pages so they can be upset. Slovakia. Let people file in anyway. Let's see. Share this right in them groups. Boom. All right, all praises to the Most High God, man. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh V'Hashem Mashiach Yahushua, man. Now we're going to another Yachty, another tired Yachty class, but you know what? It's fine though. It's fine though. I've hit that point to where, like, you know what? I'm just always going to be sleep deprived, right? I'm going to suffer from constant, persistent, chronic sleep deprivation, and that's the lot of a camp leader. People always want to get on there. I'm gonna expose you and do it. They don't really do that too much to me, you know what I mean? But it happens to other people. But people always want to just down camp leaders. Y'all don't understand how persistently tired we are, right? That's just a thing. Y'all don't understand the type of stress and high. My blood pressure was at stage 2 hypertension a few months ago, and I had to address that because good Lord, right? And you know what that comes from? You niggas, right? That's where that comes from. And not only just not just, and when I said that I meant the Southern Kingdom, but we gonna get on you Hispanics because oh my God, right? So if anybody watched the previous live where we showed the No Kings rallies and the ICE rallies they were having throughout, I guess, the world at this point. When you go to DFW had like what 6-7 protests in around the DFW Metroplex, right? Dallas is like DFW is a collection of multiple cities, right? Some bigger, some smaller, what have you, right? But there's really 6 or 7 of those. We went to the Dallas one, the biggest one. Now, when you go on Dallas news, or if you even just Google it about the rallies that they had in Dallas on Saturday, right? It looked like there was a whole bunch of people. There's a great amount of people. I saw a lot of, like, I got there right before, I got there early enough to see people file in. And you know what I saw? And you know what really disappoints the hell out of me? I saw nothing but Pride Month supporters, angry Democratic Caucasians, middle-aged angry Democratic Caucasians, various other, what's a good word to say it, alternative lifestyle people. Who else am I missing? Oh, and people who midnight is Antifa, right? You know, like we're just coming here to break things. I didn't see none of you Hispanics there. None. Now, why is that important to me? Why is that heavily important? And why does Yachty feel a certain type of way about that? Because throughout this whole few weeks about the ICE rallies, especially y'all who deal with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? That will be Hispanics who deal with like Black people specifically. Y'all say we don't show up for y'all. Y'all got on the internet, and I mean, well, all of y'all do it, right? All y'all get on the internet say, oh, y'all want to say y'all are not Negro only, but when it comes down to helping the Hispanic tribes, y'all don't do that, right? I saw so many posts on Facebook, IG, and Twitter about what Hispanics are going to do in DFW, and I didn't see none of y'all. And when I mean none, I'm not saying a few who sprinkled in with a damn Mexico flag. I'm not talking about you because y'all showed up, because goddamn it, somebody got to care, right? But for the overwhelming majority, all I saw were various forms, shapes, forms, genders of a plethora, a pantheon, if you will, right, of different Caucasian people. Where were you? Y'all talk so much about how we don't care about y'all. Even you Hebrew Israelites of the northern tribes on Facebook, on IG, on various social media tribes talk about we don't stand for you, but where were you? We didn't go out there for those Caucasians. We didn't go out there for the damn Goy, the damn nations, the Gentiles, the literal Gentiles. We didn't go out there for y'all, for them. We went out there for y'all. But nobody cares, really. Y'all spent so much time on it. It's crazy. Because like I was so prepared. I wrote down and just thought about, I had intrinsic thoughts of what I'm going to say to my people who are lost in idolatry, in these iglesias and their padres and their various forms of Catholicism. I literally sat down and thought about it and spent effort, but y'all can't even show up. And then after Saturday was over with, you know what the temperament of you Hispanics were? You know what that was? Oh, well, we don't have to worry about it because we got our papers. We're fine. We're born here. That's not what you were saying a few days ago. That's not what you were saying a few days ago. And this is this be the stuff that be irritating me about Northern Kingdom tribes who complain that we don't care about y'all when we literally took time. We showed up to camp 2 hours early. 2 hours early for you. Like so much stuff was set up to have us actually minister and care to you and march with you. Right? something against my better judgment, but hey, my nation's doing it. Supposedly my nation's doing it, and we wanted to support you. But the problem is, y'all are just like the black people in America, just like Judah, who's a lion who's crouched down. Y'all have become too complacent and too lost inside of America, and that's a problem. That is a problem, because it's crazy how both of these topics I'm talking about, if you look at the title, it's called the incredibly disappointing DFW Hispanics and the war intensifies. Get ready. All of this goes together, because if you look at the news right now with the war between Israel and Iran, this is going to cause a greater conflict somewhere down the line. Which can lead us down the path to World War III, and all praises for it. This shows you God is real, evidently. But for some reason, y'all just love it here so much. You love it where your people are getting, where Trump is sending he's really weaponizing it. He's not literally weaponizing the military, but he has his little militia, like ICE members, who don't have uniforms on. They have regular clothes like you and me. They're showing up to Home Depots, Lowe's, freaking various places where it's like a stereotype for y'all to go to, throwing bags over your head, beating them and throwing them in trucks. That's what's happening in Texas, right? I can't speak for the rest of the nation, but that's what's happening in Texas, right? And y'all can't rise up against that? I'm not saying you got to destroy things. I'm not saying you got to freaking just have full-on anarchy, but at least do something to show yourself to stand up against the evildoers, because that's a war crime. This is your nation. They did all of this. I saw it. It's crazy. I saw a white woman say this on the news today, right? Nobody's illegal on stolen land. They stole this. This is stolen. Especially when you look at the way Texas was created, y'all like, and this is the irony, right? Because before we get into, I gotta get this, I gotta get off where I'm at, to be honest, right? Before we go into the scriptures, when you look at the way Texas was created, you had illegal Caucasians, Anglo-Saxons, right? Anglo-Saxons came over here, wrote a letter, and said, "Hey, this is ours now." Texas was created through illegal immigration. But now in 2025, y'all want to throw bags over people's heads, flog them, and then throw them in the trucks, and then send them over, and then cast them into the dungeon in El Salvador like some kind of freaking Mad Max movie. And y'all are not mad about that? Y'all are not mad about that? That's crazy work. That's crazy work. And I see why people... And I see why, and I don't agree with this, though. I want to put that, what I'm about to say, I don't agree with, but I see why people say this is, like, as for the southern tribes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, I see why they say this isn't our fight, because y'all don't even show up to y'all's fight. It's crazy. Who will rise up against the evildoers? What's the chat talking about? I've seen this, let me see, I've been saying this for a while now. People have a vile affection on them, which is loving their captors, especially since we're talking about the Northern Kingdom, right? Yes, Judah too, but like I would expect after seeing what Viva La Raza was out there doing in LA, I would assume y'all would have got some cojones, right, to at least show up. Like, good God, bro, like it's crazy. Look at this, it's sad. It said, I really saw Sons of class. They were talking about the same thing, and I'm from the northern tribe. Shame on the north. Too indoctrinated. Yeah, they're too given to idols, and they're too given to loving all the delicacies of America. When it's oppressed you since you've been here, this is not your rest. This is crazy. I just could, like, I told Razan, we have Razan in our camp. He's our resident Issacharite, which I fully believe is a Judite that just got lost in Mexico. But that's another topic for another time, right? Our resident Issacharite, right? And we have Kassar. I told them the entire time I saw them after we left that Edomite fest, right? All Idumea, that DFW becoming all Idumea, right? Mount Seir out there. After we left that and went to a Juneteenth thing, and I was disappointed by the Southern Kingdom there too, right? After leaving that and I saw them, I said, bro, I'm so disappointed, y'all. Y'all have one job, just to show up. Like, put your money where your mouth is when y'all talk about we don't stand for y'all or we don't stand beside y'all. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm just being honest. I'm being quite frank. But nobody, like I said, nobody wants to stand up against the evildoers. Let's get the precept. Let's get a lot of precept. Let's get the precept, bro. It's really the Bible verse. Let's open up the book. Let me see. Oh yeah, we're gonna get that later. I don't want that right now, but we're gonna get that later. Let me get this. Where is that? It's Psalms 94. And shalom to everybody coming into class, bro. I did this little impromptu class. It was just on my spirit. I knew I was going live today. Something about today, I just knew, like, you know what? I'm getting in front of this camera and I'm about to get off where I'm at because that was wild. I'll let y'all make it on Sunday. I thought about it and I was like, nah, damn that, right? Damn that. I didn't see too many posts about y'all talking about, oh, we don't care about y'all, or we don't do nothing for y'all, or y'all don't care about our plight, right? And we show up and y'all don't show up. Imagine that, bro. Y'all stood us up like we are 2 on Tinder, bro. Like we are 2 out of 10 that you saw on Tinder, and you found something better. That's what you did, right? Let me get this Psalms 94:16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity, right? These people out here were literally workers of iniquity. They're alternative relationship lifestyle people, transformers, if you will, various other different categories, shapes, sizes of a plethora, a pantheon of Edomites out there. They're all workers of iniquity. Because even though they want to go out there and fight against Trump, they really are ultimately lined up with him in ideology and belief systems. They just don't want to be told what to do, which is hilarious. It's just a big hypocrisy when you think about it. Those are the workers of iniquity that are against you, right? Who's gonna stand up against them? It's rhetorical because people don't want to do that. They love not having to stand for anything. That's why I love Christianity so much, because you don't have to stand for shit. You don't have to stand for nothing. You could just be okay with the way the world's going. Just say your Hail Marys and your prayers and your Iglesias, and everything's fine. You leave there, get your tocino sandwich, right? Get your El Pastor sandwich. You get your what else? Chorizo, right? You're what all that pork, y'all get that right after there, and you don't even know you're condemning yourself to be destroyed in this place, right? But like the Bible says, like David said, who will rise up for me against the evildoers, or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? And that's the people you see before you. And what the crazy part, even though y'all stood us up, even though y'all don't even care about what's going on with y'all own people, the next time y'all have something, you know who's going to be there? Us. You know who's going to go out of their way to be there just to meet y'all where y'all at? Us. Because we care about y'all, because we want to stand up against the workers of iniquity, right? So what's going on there? There's a lot, too many of them benefit from the system. They do benefit too easily, yeah. And it's the same thing with Judah. Y'all just decided to join the Jews and being lazy ass niggas, right? That's what the plan was. Join the Jews, right? That was the ultimate goal with y'all. And the crazy part about this whole thing is we ultimately need y'all, right? And we just want you to care about yourself, care about us as a nation, love us like we love you. What they call the golden rule, the same thing Christ taught, right? Do unto others as you want them to do unto you, right? And the reason why we love you and we care for y'all and we'll meet y'all where y'all at, it's horrible and repetitive. Yeah, I know. I don't know how y'all do it. But yeah, the whole purpose of us even being out there is because of this. Jeremiah 3 and 18. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the lands of the north to the land that I have given for you for an inheritance unto your fathers. We're leaving this place together. We're not doing this by ourselves. We're not doing this as just the Jews. We coming out of this place together. And we're trying to get you to come out with us. Because this place is not, like I said, it's not our rest. You're literally getting oppressed here, right along with us. And ultimately, y'all are really on borrowed time. like what we're gonna get into after I get tired of rebuking you silly Hispanics and DFW. I don't want this to be all of the northern tribes everywhere. That's not what I'm saying. That's why in the title I said DFW, right? After I get tired of rebuking y'all, we're gonna go into the amount of time that y'all have left, and it's very short. We used to be minutes to midnight. We're at midnight, right? We're at like 11:59.00.0000. No, 0.1.999999. Y'all got less than a gigasecond, a nanosecond left, right, to get right. And that's what we were out here to tell y'all, that we are oppressed just like y'all, right? And we're both going to get delivered out of this place together, because we don't want to see y'all die, right? When you see in 1 John chapter 5 verse 2, it talks about how we know we love the children of God when we love God and keep his commandments, right? One of the principal commandments that Christ said is to love your God with all your heart and all your soul, and to love your neighbor, right? To love your neighbor as yourself. These two hang all the laws and the prophets, right? These are principal commandments. To love your neighbor is to rebuke your neighbor and tell them, y'all need to stop eating goddamn chorizo before and after you go to the iglesia. You need to stop eating various forms of pork. You need to stop doing Hail Marys. You need to stop worshiping the saints. That's the pantheon of disciples that you decided to make deities for some reason. You need to stop believing in a Trinity when our God is one Yahweh, right? Like you see in Deuteronomy, where you see the Shema prayer, right? He's one Yahweh, and you need to start keeping the commandments. El commandment. I was about to be rude, right? The commandments. We got to do better as a nation, right? But let's go back into this Jeremiah 50 and 33. It says, "This is what the Lord of Heaven's armies says. The people of Israel and Judah have been wronged. Their captors have refused. Their captors hold them and refuse to let them go." Right? And this is talking about Babylon. This is talking about no ancient Babylon. This is another Babylon. Because when you look at the ancient Babylon captivity, only the southern kingdom was in that. But it's talking about this Babylon has the house of Israel and the house of Judah. This is talking about the Babylon you see in Revelation 18, Revelation 17, Revelation 19. The great city you see in Revelation 11. Isaiah 13 about the Babylon that's destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah. That ancient Babylon didn't have any of those attributes. This is talking about America. So we're oppressed here together. They're not letting us go, right? It says, but the heck? I gotta get another light. They tripping. This thing is tripping. It's still working fine. I'm gonna get another light though. I'm not about to keep going through this. Where was that? Okay, yeah, verse 34. It says, "But the one who redeems them is strong. His name is the Lord of Heaven's armies. He will defend them and give them rest again in Israel. But for the people of Babylon, there will be no rest." Right? That's very easy to see. We're going to be delivered back into our land. The people over here in Babylon are going to be burnt with fire. And we're going to get that very shortly. It says, "The sword of destruction will strike the Babylonians, says the Lord. It will strike the people of Babylon, her officials and wise men too, right? So this is going into their armies. This is going into their weapons of war. This is going to their mighty men, their trumps, their various government officials, all of them. Their wise men, their scientists, all of them are going to get the strike of the Lord. And what we were out there to do, we're coming back to this. Let's go to yo, hold up, slack it. Mic check, mic check. Slack it, y'all. See, my mic was tripping. Mic check, yeah, we good, we in there. We are in there. Yeah, that was wild work. Yeah. Let's get this Revelation 18:1. Right? It says, after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Right? So the world is wax rich through the abundance of America's delicacies, right? And the people who live in America. This is what I was talking about as far as the complacency of the northern and southern kingdom tribes in America. They love all of their complexities. They love all their complacencies. They love everything that gets them through the day that they only have to deal with, and damn everything and everybody else, right? But there's going to come a day when this place burns with fire. And we're trying to deliver you, silly dove Hispanics, up out of that. We're trying to deliver you, silly Negroes who want to just I only care about money, right? You know, every time we get into it with a Southern Kingdom Israelite in there, it's like, well, where's your money at? Like I have 3 occupations that I concurrently do. They act like we just get out there. We only do that because we're broke. Like that's only Judah does that. It really be killing me. But all those things, those complacencies, things like that, when the dollar crashes before the mark of the beast comes, all of that's going out the window. These concerts you like to go to, you know, with Drake and with Kendrick, and listen to the same Not Like Us song that you've been blasting for a year, right? I'm tired of that song sucks. The beat sucks. That I don't even like Kendrick, like as an artist. I mean, it's a hot take. It's a hot take. I know, right? I'm not a fan of his music, right? But that song has been overplayed. But all those concerts you want to go to hear these same overplayed songs, right? They're coming to an end. You will not be able to afford them any longer. You won't be able to afford bread any longer. You will go to the store and bread will be $20 a loaf. Right? That we're coming into that time period, and we're trying to help you be delivered out of that, because this place is going to be burned with fire. There will be a nuclear fire that destroys this place. There will be a famine that destroys this place. There will be an economic disaster in America very soon by what the Lord says. And the way to get delivered out of that is keeping the commandments, right? Let's continue. It said, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues, right? This is the Lord calling his people out of Babylon. This isn't coming out of them mentally. This isn't physically leaving. This is the Lord calling them up from the heavens to meet Christ and go to the land of Israel. That's what's happening right here, right? The Lord has remembered what this place has done to you, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the Lord will repay it, rather. So the only way we get up out of this is do the right thing, stand up against the evildoers, and keep the commandments and stand stiffly for the Lord's name. We have to do that. Let's go back to this Jeremiah 50. So Jeremiah 50:35, the sword of destruction will strike the Babylonians, saith the Lord. It will strike the people of Babylon, her officials and her wise men too. The sword will strike her wise counselors, and they will become fools. And this is going into, because with the counselors, we have basically, just like how we have people who have certain ideologies that gives people a sense of peace. Christianity being one of those, right? Scientology being one of those. Various religions, various ideologies of America. These are the wise counselors who will become fools. Because what's happening when you go look at Christians and look at their answers to what's going on now, they don't have any. Why? Because their version of the Bible and their interpretation, their interpretation of the prophecies don't make sense because they believe these people over there are Israelites. They believe Esau is spiritually anybody who comes against I saw that yesterday. Spiritually anybody who comes up against these people. That's hilarious, right? All of that, when bombs start coming here, when missiles start happening here, when things start happening in this land, there's going to be no purpose or reason to go to the church. They're going to go to their pastor who they've given so much money, and they're not going to have answers for you. They're not going to have answers. They're going to become fools. That's what's going to happen to this land. It says the sword will strike her mightiest warriors, and panic will seize them. That's what America's going to be like. That's why Yahushua said, iniquity shall abound, because the love of many shall wax cold, because there will be widespread panic, because there will be economic ruin, there will be famines, there will be sicknesses. People aren't going to know what to do. Go ask a pastor what's going on right now and tell them to show it in the Bible, without it being something vague like wars or rumors of wars. Tell them to be intricate. I guarantee you they can't do it. So it says, her sword will strike her horses and the chariots and all her allies from other lands. That's NATO and EU, right? It says, and that's Armageddon. It says, and they will all become like women. Their sword will strike her treasures and they will all be plundered. The sword will even strike her water supply, causing it to dry up. And why? Because the whole land is filled with idols and the people are madly in love with them, like you Hispanics, who we tried to save. Like it says in Nehemiah 9, the Lord sent them saviors. We were trying to be saviors to y'all, to tell y'all Jesus Cristo is El Negro. He is not Blanco, right? He's melanated just like how you are. Like all the things you learn in Catholicism is idolatry. All of that is the reason why this place is going to be destroyed. Verse 39. Soon Babylon will be inhabited by desert animals and hyenas. It will be home for fowls. Never again will people live there. It will lie desolate forever. Right? This is how you know this isn't talking about ancient Babylon. This has to be the Babylon we read about in Revelation. Because people are living in the ancient Babylonian land right now. You telling me people aren't in Turkey? You telling me people aren't in Iraq? You telling me people aren't in the various in between cities and towns and structures that Babylon inhabited? I mean, I don't need to. I mean, we could Google it right now. It's a simple Google search. People are living in this place now. So this lets you know this is a prophecy about this Babylon we see in Revelation. Verse 40, it says, and I will destroy it as I destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring towns, says the Lord. No one will live there. No one will inhabit it. Right? Very simple. Same thing I just said. Right? Fire will destroy this place. Very simply. And we're trying to save y'all out of that. And the thing is, all y'all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have to do, right? After knowing all this information, after knowing we need to repent, after knowing we need to do better, we need to cast these idols away like mistress rags, right? After knowing things like that, all we got to do is be like how we did in Egypt. Watch this. Exodus 14:13. But Moses told the people, don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. Right? That's it. Keep the commandments. Love the children of God. Do the work if you have the ability to do it. And you just watch what's going to happen. The Lord gave us the script. He gave us the cliff notes. That's called the prophets and the prophecies. Just watch. Just watch how the nation that oppressed your grandmother, and only oppressed my grandmother. I heard so many stories in Temple, Texas. She's widely known in the civil rights movement in area there. Right? What they've done to your grandparents, what they've done to our nation, and what they continue to do today. Watch as it's completely turned on its head, and these people know destruction because they don't know widowhood yet. They don't know because they believe. You see in Revelation 18, it talks about Babylon sitting as a queen, and she acts like she'll never know widowhood. They'll never be without their man. They believe it's something called manifest, like the earlier Caucasians, right? I believe some of the manifest destiny, like God gave them the right to just expand upon America and just have it, right? And God is behind them with that. And you know what? For right now, from that point all up until now, it's been like that, right? They think that they will have this forever, but once they find out the Lord is against them and they don't have that man, that's when they will know widowhood. That's when widespread panic will just be all over America. That's when that's going to happen. But for you Israelites, this wisdom and knowledge will be your stability in the times of trouble. All right, and that's why you need to accept it. Because there ain't no more, like, we can sit here and debate, Negro only. We can debate the Trinity. We can debate salvation. To be honest, time is, like, who cares? Right? Who gives a damn? Like, at this point where we're in right now, I've never felt closer to salvation. Ever. I thought we were there with the, you can say pandemic, the pandemic, right? I thought we were there with that, but nah, this is where it's at, right? This is where it's at. Let me get some more. 1 Thessalonians 5, right? So 1 Thessalonians 5:1, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night, right? So people aren't going to be paying attention to it. And I see that now. I made a status on Facebook. Everybody who follows me on Facebook, I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, you'd have seen the status, right? I said the moment when you go to work and your coworkers have no idea about the protest and no idea about the Israel and Iran war. I had a conversation with them. They have no idea. And I'm just thinking, like, what are y'all? So y'all are literally, when this stuff spills over, you're just gonna wake up one day and a missile hit and you're not gonna know why. Like, that's how y'all decide to live y'all's lives, right? And certain Hebrew Israelites are gonna be like that way too. Like, they're not gonna pay attention. They're not gonna be like, because they want to talk about Paul. Paul is equivalent to God. Paul's equivalent to Christ. Paul's equivalent to God, right? But a lot of y'all don't even follow this. Did you see at 1 Thessalonians 5, right? Yeah, a lot of y'all are just in the dark. Let's read this, right? For you yourselves know perfectly the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, right? And that's why we have to watch and pray. Just like how Christ, just like how Paul, just like how Peter and the rest of the apostles talked about, we have to watch and pray and be sober, right? And that doesn't mean you can't drink alcohol. Like that, sober just means to be clear-headed, sober-minded. And this passage really explains that. Where is it? I'm reading 4 again. But But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Right? So this lets you know what the sobriety that it's talking about means. Right? It doesn't mean you can't drink alcohol, but pay attention to what's going on. Everything's going to let you know. Everything's going to let you know about when the Lord is coming. It says it in 2 Ezra 9, right? You're gonna measure the time diligently, and when you see all the things start coming to pass, that's when you know it's going to be the visitation of the Most High. Well, this is they doing. I've spoken to my coworkers about current events. They're like, "What? Yeah, I know, bro." I just go. It's like I'll be telling myself I'm not gonna talk to him about it, but I end up doing it anyway because I don't. The thing about me, I don't really have a life anymore. Like, this is me. Like, what we do here is this. Like, I play guitar, I make my own music. Outside of that, I do this. This isn't a hobby for me. Like, this truth isn't something that I just do on Saturday. Like, this is me. Right? So I don't have nothing to talk about other than this. And the Eagles, right? Go Birds, we're Super Bowl champions. But outside of that, this is all I got. Right? But let's continue in this, right? Yeah, shameless plug, man, you know. Verse 7 is, for they sleep in the night, that King's English, bro. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplates of faith and love, for an helmet the hope of salvation. Right? This is going into your confidence of salvation, about like what's going on, and you're confident in your belief system and in your faith. Right? That's what that sobriety is, and watching and paying attention and praying that you be delivered out of this place. Right? Verse 9, for God have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our Lord Jesus Christ, or Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Right? But it says, for God appointed us not to wrath, but unto salvation. What does that mean? Let's go look at Colossians 3 and 5. So it says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Right? Mortify means to kill off, right? Or to unalive. Like unalive the things in your flesh that's causing you to sin, and your sins just in general. Right? It is for which things sake the wrath of God cometh upon the children of disobedience. That's the wrath of God, you being paid back for your transgressions. So putting that together with 1 Thessalonians 5, since the Lord hasn't appointed us to wrath, right? He's appointed us to receive salvation. The way to receive salvation is by putting off these things, or else you get the wrath. Evil concupiscence, right? Covetousness, inordinate affections, uncleanness, right? Impurities in your mind, right? And fornication, all these things. But look at this. It says, for which things sake the wrath of God cometh upon the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that you put off the old man with his deeds. I thought works didn't matter when you're putting off the old man with his deeds. It says, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him. Right? Now, the image of him goes in the icon, which you see is like a moral likeness of something. Right? The moral likeness of Christ. Christ being the firstborn of all creation. He was first created, and he created the worlds. That's what you see in Hebrews chapter 1. Right? The worlds being the ages. Right? He created all of this. So we're created after his image. Those who put off the old man and put on the new man. That means to be Christ-like. So not only do we have to watch all these things and watch the prophecies, we have to remain Christ-like in this nation. This evil nation that has been against us since it's existed on this planet. Right? And that's what all of that is what I wanted to tell. There's really more, but this is the key meat and potatoes of what I wanted to tell the northern tribes. Like, this is cool. You know, I get it. We're gonna stand with you. There's a travesty being done to you. If they could find a way to do it to us, to the niggas, right? If they could find a way to do it to us, they would do it to us too, right? But we pay them too much in tax money and fill up their prison houses to where they can make money that way. So it's better to just keep us here. That's ultimately what they do. Oh, and look at this, right? That may remind me of something. Watch this. Check this out. Let me show you the hubris of the Caucasian man. Right? They don't want y'all here, but they'll do something like this. Let me see. Stop screen. Watch this. Issues. Y'all got to see this, bro. Y'all got to see this, right? What is this on? What am I sharing this? Yeah, this is from Steve Ram's channel, but he's watching Fox News. So it's a double. Where is it at? It's a double fair use, right? Oh, that's the wrong one. There you go. It's a double fair use, right? Fair use for Steve Ram channel, also fair use for Fox News, right? For the purposes of such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research, all of which we're doing today, right? But watch this. Just look at this craziness.
5-10 years from now, they are dedicated to destroying Israel and destroying America. And so, you know, negotiating with these folks does not work. It only means that they think they're weak, and then they want some time to get strong again, so that then they can again pursue what they've always wanted to pursue, the destruction of America and Israel.
Now, Iran is on its last legs economically, financially. What would be the way in which you get regime change? How you get Khomeini out?
Oh, look, well, easier said than done, right? But one of the things that you do is you go back to squeezing the Iranian economy, and you sanction their oil. And I think that you know, the Iranians made a huge mistake this morning by attacking Israel's oil refineries. Now their oil refineries are fair game, and that's their number one source of income. And so, yeah, that's the way that I would do it. And then format the ability of the Iranian people to have the government that they deserve. They're good people, you know, and they deserve democracy and freedom. And so, you know, we need to make sure if there is an uprising that we support that uprising.
Next one, Congressman. President Trump has signaled a turnaround, a real turnaround on one of his immigration policies. It appears he will now exempt farmers and hotel workers from ICE raids. Yeah, I see that as a huge...
That is hilarious. Like, I want y'all to just, like, I hope y'all heard what this man said, right? Because I know it's gonna fly over people's heads. What he's saying is Trump has doubled back and said we want to exempt people, these Hispanic people who you know are illegals, right? You want to exempt them from ICE raids. Who are the ones that do like laundry services, like services that Americans and jobs that Americans don't want. The ones that work in fields, the ones that take care of clothing, the ones that pick fruit, the ones that work in hotels who y'all pay like $5 an hour, right? And get over on. You're gonna exclude them from being excommunicated from the country, right? And the only reason why you want to do that is so they can slave. You don't want to offload your slaves. That's crazy. It's like you don't want you don't want them here, but the only reason you want them here, right, and out of the same mouth, is to have them to be slaves and work for $5 or $10 an hour. And in 2025, $10 an hour is like $2. In Texas, $2 an hour. If that. That's the ones you want to keep here. That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all just, like, we're wrong for saying these people, these people, these Edomites are the devil. We're wrong for that. But they can say, we hate y'all, we don't want y'all here, but if y'all are a slave for us, you can stay. That's good. But we're wrong, though. Watch this.
Huge reversal. Do you support it?
Huge reversal.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, I support what the president is doing, you know, across the nation, but I do not support, you know, this all immigrants are, you know, are fair game. Absolutely not. Look, what's
I don't support all of it. So I support the ones staying here who work for us. We have multi-billion-dollar companies who we don't have to insure, right? Because that costs a lot of money insuring an American citizen through the job. You don't have to insure them. You don't have to pay very much for their salaries, and you also don't have to have certain insurances to protect them. So of course you want them to. That sounds like slavery. You say you want them to be here, but to be slaves. Watch this.
What's happening in New York, Chicago, and LA is completely different what's happening in my community. I'm getting text after text after text of business owners. They're saying they're going to have to lay off hundreds and hundreds of people that have come here and are actually part of our workforce. They're part of our community.
So that's crazy. Y'all built your entire you built your economy off the backs of illegals, and now you want to kick them out of your country. And let's say you did kick them out of your country. It said hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of layoffs. These businesses would crumble without them. But we wrong for saying these people are the devil. I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm trying to really rationalize how we are the evil ones. But these people, under the guise of we want to keep these businesses up, are sponsoring slavery. Let's keep going, bro.
They've been sponsored. They have family members. They have friends that are sponsoring them. We've never had the kind of issue that they've had in other cities here. And I think that we have to have a nuanced approach on how we deal with immigration. And finally, we need to solve the immigration problem. And I think that President Trump is about the only person that can do that. And we need to get to that sooner rather than later.
He said we're gonna have a nuanced approach. Yeah, the ones who essentially do our bidding, they can stay, but the rest of y'all, you have to get up out of here, man. It's crazy. This is crazy. Look, it's insane. It's insane. It's really funny. It's funny. It's funny. It's sad, and it's irritating all at the same time. It's just, bro. These people are some of the just matter of fact, let's go into the war. Right? It's about to get even funnier, right? And God's about to be true to a different level. Let me see. Stop screen. Watch this. Let's go into this video. Let me start this over, right? This is from Redacted, another channel y'all should watch. They're pretty much in the middle. Sometimes they lean towards Republicans, sometimes, but they're pretty much in the middle. I usually watch them every day, like when I get home from work. Oh yeah, this right here, fair use, right? Fair use for the purposes such as criticism, commenting, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research, right? So let's watch this clip. Oh,
buckle up, because this is the crisis moment. This is
the crisis moment. What you just seen was a missile hitting Israel. That was a hypersonic missile. The Iron Dome didn't stop that. So what does that mean? They're gonna need America if they want to survive. And remember that's the key part of what I want to get across today. Because Trump is running out of Trump. Like, I don't know if y'all have paid attention to politics. I watched the entire campaign, right? I was watching news before that, but I watched the entire campaign all the way up until Trump being elected, all the way up until now. Trump has been the to a degree, through his words, has been the anti-war candidate, talking about, we need to get out of the war with Ukraine. Still haven't done it. We need to avoid these other wars. These wars wouldn't have happened if I were in office, but for some reason this one did. But that's neither here nor there, right? But he's been trying to avoid war at all costs through his own words, right? But now, America's greatest ally, apparently, right, have forced his hand by preemptively striking Iran. And Trump is running out of options to keep his hands clean and not get inside of this war. And the thing is, Israel swung first, knowing they had no hands whatsoever, right? And Iran has hands, and they have people who's ready to jump at any moment, right? Who have the ability to, right? Because anything can happen, but who have the ability to, right? And the only way to stop them from Israel from getting jumped and destroyed is for their big brother America to come bail them out. But when America does that, now you forcing Vladdy's hand. Now you're forcing Bushi's hand. Now you forcing Xi Jinping's hand. I believe that's his name, right? However the pots and pans you say it, right? However the wash pot you say it, rather. Now you're forcing Brazil's hand. Now you're forcing India's hand. And you know what that looks like? That looks like World War III. That looks like Ezekiel 38. That looks like Revelation 18, Isaiah 13. All of this resulting in our salvation. Because this nation has to fall for us to be delivered. Watch this, right? Just really quickly. We're coming back. We're coming back. Just for a second. Let me read a Bible verse real fast. Best believe we're gonna read this Bible verse. Best believe we coming back to that second Ezra 16. Whoa, what was I looking for? Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. It says, oh, is that on screen? Yeah, it is. Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. It says, so of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous and the destruction of the enemies. Right? So for us to be saved, there has to be a destruction of our enemy. We have to accept it. We have to accept it. For wherewith thou did punish our adversaries, by the same didst thou glorify us, whom thou hast called. So that we're waiting on this. People talking about pray for Israel, pray for Iran. What, y'all trying to pray against the Lord's plan? You can't prophesy against the Lord. You can't prophesy against Yahweh. He's the Lord of heaven's armies. You can't prophesy against his plan, bro. Right? And that's why all y'all gonna get said it not. Because if God is with you, who can be against you, bro? Who can be against you? And God is with us. We're the ones who've been called. We are the righteous. So we have to accept through our salvation, there has to be a destruction. And we're gonna be talking about that tonight. We're gonna be talking about that evidently tonight. Stop showing screen. Let's get back into this clip. Right? Oh, one more. I'm slacking. One more before we go back into this clip. Right? Because y'all saw that missile hit. This war ain't about to be like the war y'all have seen in the past, right? See, Isaiah 9:5 is for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And that's what you're seeing. When you saw that missile hit Israel, and when you seen these missiles hit Iran, and when you see how this war is going to play out, it's not going to happen. Oh, shoot. It's not going to be what y'all see in Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3 or Black Ops 1, 2 and damn Infinity, because they can't come out with another Call of Duty game outside of Black Ops. Slack, I play video games, right? But the things you see in Black Ops, that's not what's about to happen. You about to see missiles launched. And all praises for the Lord. All praise for the Lord, bro. Let's go back into this. Watch this clip. Let's hit this clip. Breaking news. Boom, let's get it.
Trump's crisis moment, a tearing apart of his own support base, neocons crawling out from the shadows, the evil slime, demonic warmongers like Lindsey Graham, now openly steering the United States foreign policy again. Game on, he writes, after the first bombs dropped. Neocon warmongers surrounding President Trump.
Lindsey Graham, bro. Lindsey Graham's that dude. Have you ever had like a friend group and you got that one friend who's just like provoking and just provoking an ass whooping to happen? That's that dude. This guy's supposed to work for Trump, and this dude is provoking an ass whooping for Trump of epic proportions. That dude must. If Trump wants to save himself, you want to let that guy go.
Pressuring him to strike. What will his resolve be? All of this happening while true conservative isolationists, what I call George Washington conservatives, are screaming, stay out of the Middle East. It only hurts the United States. This is the greatest foreign policy test of Trump's entire career. False flag attacks across the United States, threats of sleeper cells, and a narrative being built in real time to push.
And imagine that. Like that's gonna be crazy because like look and Trump is running out of options, bro. Because let's say he just tries to let them fight it out. Well, let's say they do that with the sleeper cell thing. Just imagine that. That would be crazy. Y'all thought 9/11 was bad. Imagine waking up and you seeing that on the news and damn near all the major cities. You got see, I don't even want to say that because of YouTube. Ooh, I don't want to say that because of YouTube. Right? Just imagine what he said. Just imagine what he said. Ooh.
Push us into war. Just a reminder, Trump's own administration confirmed that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003.
So what happens now?
Oh, they're not. Well, our research shows that they haven't built a bomb. Right? You know what that sounds like? Now, see, that sounds like George Bush talking about some weapons of mass destruction, right? Did they find weapons of mass destruction? No. But you know what George Bush found? Oil, poppies, and what's that? Oil, poppies, and just freaking money, right? That's what he found over there. There was no weapons of mass destruction, right? If anybody had weapons of mass destruction, it was the people coming over there and mass destroying villages like him and Obama, right? Obama was clicking a button, and the village is erased off the map. That's what was happening. So we see the same script happening again. Oh, well, we think they might have a bomb, right? So we're going to go over there and just start hitting them. Imagine that, right?
Next, we'll define the Trump presidency, maybe the survival of our republic itself. We'll get into all of that because over the past 24 hours, we've seen a massive escalation in this war. I woke up on this Father's Day, Sunday, to a boatload of news. By the way, happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there.
Yeah, and this was yesterday, right? So there's new developments. I think I got an alert about Trump sending troops to Israel. I think I got an alert about that. I got to look into that, but I wasn't prepared for that yet. So we're just going to continue with this.
Out there. So first, we need to bring you up to speed on the devastating escalation over the past 24 hours in the Israel-Iran war, because it's moving fast and it's changing the entire world order. BRICS nations lining up behind Iran.
BRICS nations lining up behind Iran, right? Watch this. Keep going.
Sending them weapons. Western countries like the United States and the UK and Germany now lining up as expected behind Israel.
The EU lining up behind Israel, right? So the lines are getting drawn in the sand like the Axis powers and the other power, man, that we saw in World War I and World War II, right? They're lining up behind these people and fighting proxy wars. The BRICS nations lining up behind Iran. Now watch this. This is important to know. Because let's go into something. We see this in prophecy. So let's go to. I hate that you can't show two screens on here no more. That's so annoying. I'm about to start streaming on OBS. I'm about to go right back to OBS. Let me see. Zechariah 1, and let's start at verse 18, right? So it says, then lifted I up mine eyes and saw, and behold, 4 horns, right? So this is the prophecy about the 4 horns and the 4 carpenters. So it says, then I lifted up mine eyes and saw and beheld 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. That's the whole nation, the southern and the when you see something like that, like Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem, we know this is specifically talking about the entire nation as a whole. So when did that happen? If we can understand by looking at the prophecies, archaeology, people's own words in their biographies, right, attesting to them being Israelites, all of that, the Black, Spanish, and Native Americans attesting to being Israelites, when were they scattered? Because when you see in the Bible, like namely Leviticus 26 and 33, it talks about how it will be scattered into various other countries, right, for captivity, and he'll send a sword after us. And Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64, we'd be scattered into all nations, right, and we'll serve other nations and other gods which neither our fathers knew, you or your fathers know. This is talking about captivity. When did all of the nations go into captivity? The transatlantic slave trade, right? We all had various captivities in between, but all of us at the same time moving around and moving pieces going into captivity, the transatlantic slave trade. So who are these four horns? These are four horns that you see in Daniel. The 10 toes on the statue, the 10 horns, which you see that come out of that fourth beast, which is Rome, right? The first one being Spain, right? With the Spanish, you know what the Spanish did to the Hispanics. That's why they speak Spanish. Hispanic means to be owned by Spain, right? What they've done to the Hispanic tribes, the French, what they've done to the Haitians through their captivities in their part of the slave trade, right? And then you and various other West Indian Israelites and South and parts of Africa, right, as well, right? And you have the UK or the Britannia or Great Britain, what they've done with also America, that little horn which you see in Daniel 7, right? Where it mentions that these are the four horns. They're all the four key players of the transatlantic slave trade, which all this really just encompasses the EU just in general, right? The European structure and the European power source on America, right? So we see those being the four horns. Watch this. No, and the Lord showed me four carpenters. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. That's one of captivity. They're bowed down to them, right? So lifted up his head. By these are come to fray them. These are talking about the carpenters, come to fray the horns, to split the horns, to destroy the horns, right? To cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah, to scatter it, right? So these carpenters come to destroy this European power, right? This European power structure. So now we have the EU. What's directly opposed to the EU? The BRICS nations, right? Or the BRIC. And I have that pulled up because it originally was called the BRIC. They called the Big Four, right? You see this in... Bro, I hate that I have to keep stopping in the screen to do this. The Big Four, right? BRICS, the BRICS nations. The nation is counter-opposed, just like the European Union is a conglomerate of certain European nations, right? Specific European nations to make their economy stronger, to be a force on the earth. The counter and adversary to that is the BRIC nations, right? The Big Four originally was called Brazil, Russia, India, and China, which pretty much operate the same way as the European structure, but to counteract them, to have their own thing, right? To have their own economic power and allegiance. So we see in the BRICS nations, because like it became BRICS, but they added S because South America came, and Ethiopia and Iran and Egypt. All of that is important to know. All of that is important to know because when you see in Ezekiel chapter 38, in Ezekiel 38, it speaks of Gog and Magog, right? The chief prince of Meshach, right? We know that's looking at the prophecies, looking at history, looking at who occupied that land. That same land is Russia. Who is the chief prince of that? Currently, Vladimir Putin, right? Now it says they're going to go to war. They're going to be dragged into war. And when you see farther down in that chapter, after, because I'm paraphrasing verse 4 in Ezekiel chapter 38, it talks about the nations that are going to be a guard unto it. One of those is, let me just pull that back up. Let me pull that right back up. Let me do this. We're going to build to a point. I forgot I could just do this. Right here, right? Let's just read it for him. Right? It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. It's talking about the chief prince of Meshach, Gog and Magog, right? It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, right? What's ancient Persia? I mean, where does Iran go back to? What's their ancient name? Persia. It says Ethiopia and Libya, South African countries and continents, right? Not continents, but just countries, right? Going back into the BRICS. Who's a part of the BRICS? Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran. It's key players in who's going to be yoked up with freaking Vladimir Putin and Gog and Magog, right? Or Gog and Magog. They're all of this we're seeing in prophecy about the four carpenters, and we're seeing the allies of the chief prince of Meshach all together, right? Watch this. Let's go back into Ezekiel 38, right? It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, and all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands in the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. They're doing that right now. Unto them is the place. Unto them is the nations that it mentioned, right? The nations it mentioned right here: Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. Oh, the same ones who are also allies to the BRIC nations and a part of the BRIC, right? He just mentioned, right, with the guy you see in redacted, they're lining up behind Iran. They're literally being a guard to him now. So if you see America step in, who's going to have to be dragged into that? Who's going to have hooks into their jaws to bring them into this battle, right? Vladimir Putin, Russia, right? That's how we see these prophecies being close to being fulfilled, right? We see in Zechariah 1. Let's go back to Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1. We see in Zechariah 1, these four carpenters are going to destroy the four horns. These four horns is a representation of the beast, the European Union, European power structure here. They're going to destroy them. We know that's going to happen. We also see in Ezekiel 38 that Gog and Magog is going to be dragged into a war, right? And they're going to be a guard to their allies. What's one of their allies? Iran. Who did it just say is lined up behind Iran? The BRICS. Bro, God is real. I'm showing all this to let you know that we are so close. We've never been this close. And the only thing that'll stop that is y'all going back into, like, y'all taking your hand off the plow and basically shirking your duty as an Israelite. If y'all continue to put as much work as you possibly can in, then all of this could just happen. We don't have to worry about no peace treaty. We don't have to keep worrying about going to work and barely making rent. I'm tired of doing that, to be honest, right? All we have to do is keep putting work in. Then we will see these carpenters, right? These people who are skillful to destroy, like when we look at the Hebrew word for carpenter, right? That word means somebody who's skillful to destroy, or a literal carpenter, or an artificer, right? These people are going to destroy this European power. That has to happen. This person, Gog, right? Gog and Magog, these people, this land has to be dragged into a war by the people who they're guard unto. We see that happening. That's Iran. Israel it gave us all the pieces we need to put together to make the puzzle called World War III. It's all there. Right? That's why I said we need to get ready, bro. The war intensified. The war has intensified. Get ready. And as of me starting this live stream, more stuff has happened. I already know it. More stuff has happened. I'm already getting notifications about the troops that Trump sent there, and that's going to be important when we finish this out. Watch this. Let's go a little bit more into this. We almost out of here, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro.
Iran's capital city on fire this morning. Massive airstrikes in Tehran a few hours ago. 15 airstrikes hit next to Iran's parliament building. They destroyed Iran's IRGC headquarters. The Iranian Intelligence Ministry building in Tehran no longer exists. It's now gone. Then Israel struck Iran's nuclear agency headquarters. The escalation is happening in real time after Iran sent a devastating attack on Israel overnight. I stayed up late watching all the developments in Israel as Iran was attacking and destroying Israel's main missile factory, military installations in Haifa, after Israel struck oil refineries in Iran. Then Iran destroyed Israel's key oil refinery, which supplies over 60% of oil refining capacity to Israel. Hundreds of missiles hitting downtown Tel Aviv, which in many areas turned to rubble. It almost looks like Gaza. It's hard to tell the difference.
Those cars destroyed and debris everywhere. Now I am the collapse.
And that's crazy. Like, oh no, I need y'all to hear what he's gonna say.
Damage. I look horrified at what happens in Gaza, but now it's like in my back door.
Israel says,
now it's in my see, and that's what's gonna happen with America very soon. Y'all see all these some people who were in tune with what's going on in the world. They see what's happening in Gaza. It's a literal genocide, but nobody's going to do anything about it for some reason, right? They see all the leveling of Gaza, and they say they've seen that on the news and stuff like that, but now it's at my backyard. And, that's what's going to happen to America. That's going to happen to Americans. And it ain't because of what we said. It ain't because of anybody's going to have an uprising, rather. It's going to be because God said so. God is going to make it so to this place. That's Isaiah 13. It's happening. At Jeremiah 51, it's happening. So they don't got to worry about, because I already know, like, the Hebrew Israelites, you're trying to just go up against America. We're actually, to be honest, we're just watching it happen. We're just watching how the whole script is going to play out by Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai, bro. That's all we doing. We just telling y'all what's going to happen before it happened, like the prophets of old, who prophesied against many kingdoms and about pestilence and famine and war. That's what we're doing.
Targeting and assassinating Iran's leader Khomeini is now on the table. I'm sure Iran feels that same way about Netanyahu. Meanwhile, Iran says no peace talks.
I can't stand the way this dude
is now on the table. I'm sure Iran feels that same way about Netanyahu.
Look at this. Like, I'm gonna say it, man. I don't even care if it's bitching Yahoo right here, right? Look at this dude's head. He got that square head from that movie Up, bro. Look, this dude gets to call himself God's chosen people with that square ass head. Like, I just can't. These people, I'm sorry. It's just it look like Up, bro.
Meanwhile, Iran says no peace. No.
It's a 3.5. Hold on. Let me see that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. That's what his head look like, bro. That's what Buddy head look like. It's like it, bro. I just don't like Buddy, man.
Iran says that's canceled. Done. I know that's shocking, right? You mean you don't want to have talks with the people that just killed your top military commanders, assassinated your nuclear scientists? Shocking. Why wouldn't you want to sit down and have dinner with those people? Israel, for its part, has now declared full air superiority over Iranian skies, which raised a lot of eyebrows with that statement. Weird Because as UN Weapons Inspector Scott Ritter just posted, if Israel has established air superiority over Iran, how is it that Iran can launch a daylight missile attack on Israel?
That's a great question. I'm trying to figure that out too. So if Israel has air superiority, they're controlling it. It's just like when you're playing Call of Duty, you get that easy kill streak, the UAV. You got air superiority. You're controlling what's going on in there. You know where everybody's at. You have complete control over the airs, right? If they have that, how is Iran just willy-nilly just shooting missiles at daytime, during the daytime, not under the cover at night, at daytime, striking your land? That sounds like propaganda. You know, I need that. I need a soundboard for that. That's going to be my soundboard. Propaganda. Right?
Good question. There's a lot of propaganda happening right now.
No, he said it
and as
too.
Colonel McGregor pointed out last night, what Israel wanted was provocation, and they got it. Quote, in less than 18 hours after Israel's surprise attack, Iran responded, firing hundreds of ballistic missiles, including hypersonic missiles, into central Tel Aviv and across Israel. Meanwhile, Israel's Iron Dome failed. Israeli intelligence failed. So now Netanyahu is pleading with Washington to intervene with American military power to rescue Israel from certain defeat, a defeat Netanyahu crafted with encouragement from Washington. So think about that for a second. Israel knew it couldn't beat Iran, and any military expert worth his salt knows that unless they're lying to you. So this was all planned. Launch the attack and then beg Trump, beg Germany, beg the UK to come in and help.
You see that? Oh my God! Oh, you know the people who are the horns in Zechariah 1 to beg Trump, right? That's America. That's one, the little horn, and the UK, right? And the other two are inside the European Union, who's also their allies. The four horns that scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem to join a war. To fight against the BRICS nations, the four carpenters. And we know how that's going to go. That's like, look at this, bro. God is a real and just God, bro. Look at this. It's great.
More on that part of the story in a second, because this was a trap set for Trump, and he walked right into it, or he walked into it intentionally. As Daniel Estelin said, this was all done to entrap President Trump, forcing him into this war. Watch.
But Israel's strike on Iran, and I'll get to Trump in a second, Trump's helplessness, Trump's confusion, the split in MAGA, where the overwhelming majority is against Israel in general and against Christian Zionism of these neocons. We do, unfortunately, and I really do mean unfortunately, Alex, Trump has fallen into a real trap, and from all sides. He did not get out of the war with Russia and Ukraine. He got involved in the war with Iran on the side of Israel.
And guess what? Iran fell for it. Then they were attacked, and Iran didn't take 2 months to respond like the last time. Iran immediately launched a massive retaliatory barrage, hundreds of ballistic and cruise missiles targeting key Israeli military sites. This was Friday night. They even hit Israel's version of the Pentagon.
Trey, I know they don't want you to show it, but how badly was their version of the Pentagon, Israel's version of the Pentagon, hit?
Footage from Iran.
Look at the freaking news reporter, bro. Look at the news reporter. Wait, hold up.
Trey,
this dude is not confident. This dude knows his life is in danger right now. But besides the point, they hit Israel's version of the Pentagon. Imagine another country doing that to America. You know how when you talk to your coworkers, they think America's going to last forever. Nothing's going to happen here. Imagine that happens and they successfully do that. Niggas' hearts will drop. You know what it talks in the Bible about somebody's countenance fell? Their countenance will fall below the earth, right? Hell's going to move up above before that. You know, in Isaiah 5, it's about hell's moving to forget. Oh man, I'm not talking about Dante's Inferno. I'm talking about the ground. I'm talking about the grave, right? I don't want anybody to get silly. But imagine if that happened in America. Just imagine. Everybody would be up in arms. Everybody would be in a state of confusion.
They don't want you to show it, but how badly was their version of the Pentagon, Israel's version of the Pentagon, hit.
Footage from Iranian state TV shows missiles lighting up the sky, hitting targets all over Israel. So much for that Iron Dome, or the Arrow system, or any of the other systems that Israel has. As Colonel Mack pointed out, it failed. How did it fail? Well, we now know that Iran launched hundreds of 20 to 30-year-old missiles. The Iron Dome went after them. And then, while they were going after the 30-year-old missiles, Iran launched this state-of-the-art new missiles, hypersonic missiles that flew right through Israel's defenses, hitting targets like this one in Haifa. You can see the older missiles dancing up in the Iron Dome skies, and then watch the new missiles hitting their targets. Nearly all missiles that Iran fired in this wave were 20 to 30-year-old models. Israel can't stop them, and oh, by the way, no one in the West can stop them either. Can you imagine one of these hypersonic missiles hitting a U.S. aircraft carrier? Sitting ducks.
Sitting ducks. Sitting ducks. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Let that let anything like that happen here. Niggas aren't gonna know what to do. They're not gonna know what to do. And the reason why we know they're gonna hit is because God is true. Let's get the Bible on it. Let's get some Bible on it real quick. Let's get some Bible on it. Damn, I don't want to do it like that. I'm gonna figure it out to where I can to do this every time. I don't have to do this every time. I don't like the way I said that. Second Ezra 16 to 13. You know we was reading it. Right? It says, "For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they began to be shot into the ends of the world." These aren't literal arrows, right? These are the arrows you just seen. The ones that hit Tel Aviv, the ones that hit Iran. They're not gonna miss. They're gonna do their damage, bro. Because they can't stop no sonic missiles. There's no stopping it. Look at it. Verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent, and they shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Man, I'm telling you, right? That's where we're at right now. That's what we're seeing in this war. It's crazy work. So let's go back into this. Right. We're almost done. We are almost done.
And late Friday, Iran's elite Quds force broadcast a video of direct hits on Israeli air bases. This wasn't symbolic. It was overwhelming. Multiple air bases destroyed. It wasn't broadcast on Israeli TV. And sources are telling Redacted that Iran struck targets in Israel, killing some of Israel's top scientists as well in this attack that you're seeing here on your screen. So, in other words, you kill our scientists, we kill your scientists. This is descending into chaos. Israel working around the clock to dig bodies out of rubble in
Salakia, bro. I forgot I hit the mute button. That's wild. I was just saying a whole bunch of stuff. Y'all didn't hear none of that. What I was saying is this, right? Right. There's 34 people in here. Hit that like button. You know, if you really love God and your brethren, hit the like button. Share the video, right? If you're getting that good word, because you know certain Hebrew Israelites, you know, they're not talking about the war, right? They're talking about repentance. I get it. You know, we got to repent. We've been in this for a while. I mean, at this point, if you haven't repented, I mean, you're gonna have to catch up. But right now we're moving on to bigger and better things, more important, pertinent things for the time period, right? You know, like in Hebrews 6, we after laying aside the early principles of the word of God, we move on to bigger and greater things, right? So share the video, right? Super chat if it be on your heart. And if you don't want to give Esau on your money, you want to directly support the ministry, Cash App, the Masada DTX, right? And, back to our regularly scheduled program.
In Tel Aviv, Iran digging bodies out of rubble in Tehran. So in war, no one wins. No one. Meanwhile, Russia and China have condemned Israel's actions, calling them perverted and not remotely self-defense. And North Korea also now throwing its support behind Iran, saying they will come to Iran's defense. Great. They've warned that continued strikes will be interpreted as illegal aggression. So what will Russia and China do now? Remember, Iran is a big ally. China gets most of its oil from Iran. Will Russia and China just allow their ally Iran to collapse into a heap of rubble? No. And that brings us to the domestic side of the crisis. Back here in the United States, mainstream media, along with paid shills, have begun ramping up talking points, warning that Iranian sleeper cells are right now inside the United States, waiting to launch a terror attack on all of us. Now, if that sounds familiar, it should. Former CIA officer Larry Johnson says, quote, it's the same script they've used for Iraq, the exact same one. Plant fear, talk about weapons or sleeper cells, push the president into war. Does anyone remember the anthrax scare? The yellow cake uranium lie, the chemical weapons hoax in Syria, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, the babies in incubators in Iraq?
Oh, this is wild.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, and left the children to die on the cold floor.
Yeah, all of these were lies. All of these used as justification for war.
One small problem. There never were any incubator baby deaths. Not one. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's investigative flagship program, The Fifth Estate, reveals the girl to be the Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter, given her lines and coached in acting by the giant American PR firm Hill & Knowlton.
Now they're talking about Iranian Hezbollah operatives in Michigan.
We live in a corrupt
sleeper cells. It's the neocon playbook, and it's being run again, just with new villains. Turns out this weekend, America's biggest threat is leftist Democrats who carried out assassinations against lawmakers in Minnesota.
We don't have any direct links. However, there were some flyers that said no kings within the suspect vehicle. And as we know, the planned events throughout the state of Minnesota today is a no kings event.
Opening fire on LAPD, shooting people in the middle of Salt Lake City.
Oh my God, that's a gun. That's a gun.
Wasn't Iranian sleeper cells, it was leftist nut jobs and Antifa. Meanwhile, inside Trump's own movement right now, there is a war underway. On the one side, the neocon deep state faction, Lindsey Graham, Mike Pompeo, and now even General Mike Flynn calling for all-out war with Iran. Flynn said yesterday, quote, trust me, Iran is in big trouble. Neocon Nikki Haley telling Trump to finish them off. Then on the other side, old school conservatives, constitutionalists, anti-war libertarians, Ron Paul types, people who remember George Washington's farewell address when Washington said, quote, it's our true policy to steer clear of permanent alliances with any portion of the foreign world against the insidious wiles of foreign influence, end quote. In short, stay out of their wars. Stay out of their traps. But that warning is being ignored. And at the center of it all is Trump.
You get money.
And Trump is trapped right now. Maybe, just maybe, he wants to be trapped. All part of the plan, perhaps. We now know that during the supposed nuclear peace talks with Iran, Trump was secretly coordinating with Israel behind the scenes to prepare for this strike. According to diplomatic insiders, Iran was blindsided. Trump was even sending Hellfire missiles to Israel 2 days before the attack. What the shit? Iran says that.
So right before it happened, he sent them 300 Hellfire missiles. That's crazy, bro. This country, bro. This country, what I tell you. It's just the fact that they say so much about Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what y'all do, bro. You're funding it on both sides.
Trump betrayed them, and they called off the nuclear talks. And then Trump posted this on Truth Social yesterday, saying he, along with every member of his administration, wants peace with Iran. Really? Okay. I really want to be friends with you, but first let me kill your kids. How's that going to
go? That's what he did. I want to have peace talks, but we're just going to we're going to let these people blow you up, and we're going to fund it. But we still need you to come to the table to talk about this. We still got to figure this thing out. No, they're not. Of course, they're going to call it off because you sound like when you look at this. Look. See, one more Bible. Let me get another Bible verse for y'all. Let me get some of that good old Bible. Let me get some of that word for you. Let me use some of that news you can use. Right. Revelation 13:11 is, and I beheld another beast, this is America, coming out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Right? There's a saying, right? There's a saying that says, actions speak louder than words. So you can say you want to come to the table and have some kind of nuclear agreement with us, but your actions is telling me you want war because you're funding people who's actively trying to destroy me. That's what America's doing. That's what this other beast does. Got two horns like a lamb, like it's peaceful and things like that. But just like that's what Trump's doing, like with his little Truth Social message. I've never seen a president tweet so much in my life. But you got these two horns like a lamb, but your words are speaking like a dragon, like an oppressor. This is that other beast, bro. This is what we're living in. This is what we have to deal with. So no wonder no wonder Iran called off the peace talks. What they say in Psalms, the words is smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Days before the attack. What the shit? Iran says that Trump betrayed them, and they called off the nuclear talks. And then Trump posted this on Truth Social yesterday, saying he, along with every member of his administration, wants peace with Iran. Really? Okay. I really want to be friends with you, but first let me kill your kids. How's that going to go? Not good. Tucker Carlson wrote on Twitter, if Trump was helping Israel plan this strike while pretending to hold peace talks with Iran, then this is one of the most dishonest acts of his presidency. Remember, Tucker Carlson campaigned for Trump.
Yeah, that's one of the most that is being a devil. Like you're a deceiver. You're like when you see diablos in the Greek, that's deception. You're pretending to broker a deal with me, but at the same time, you're arming the people who's actively destroying me. Specifically, arming them to do this attack to destroy me. and then don't have the balls to join the battle yourself. And then after doing both of those things, you now want me to sit down with you. What? This is crazy work.
Even help Trump get elected. It also turned out that any rift between Netanyahu and Trump was total BS, all a fake story to lull Iran into a false sense of security about a peace deal. Trump is now at a crisis moment. So what happens next? Well, with peace talks off the table, Iran threatening further retaliation, and neocons openly demanding military action, this is the powder keg moment. We are standing on the edge of World War III. And the person being squeezed from both sides right now is Trump, surrounded by people like Mike Flynn, Lindsey Graham, Israeli advisors pushing him towards escalation. And then on the other side, by millions of betrayed supporters who thought America first meant staying out of these foreign entanglements.
Yeah,
Trump was
that's what they
confronted
voted
by a
for.
reporter.
They voted for that. They voted for America first, staying out of Ukraine, staying out of the Middle East, and you know what they've got? Israel first, staying inside of the Ukraine and inside of the Middle East. They literally got like it's like when Israel wanted a king and they got Saul. It's literally that. Y'all got Saul in front of the entire the globe.
About why he's putting Israel first and not America first. And Trump said, quote, well, considering that I'm the one that developed America first, and considering that the term wasn't used until I came along, I think I'm the one that decides. In other words, America first can mean anything neocons want it to mean, anything Trump
can mean whatever. America first. Since I came out with America first, those two words together. So I came up with that ideology. It can mean whatever I want it to mean. So America's first. And I could wake up in the morning. It could mean Trump first. America first can mean Israel first. America first could just be whatever the hell I want it to be. I'm Trump. You voted for me. Here's my second term. There's nothing you could do about it. That's the type of person that y'all niggas voted for, bro. You see in Daniel where it talks about the Lord putting the basest of men as rulers and kings. That's what y'all have right now. That's what we're in right now, bro. And the crazy part about it, like this, one thing I love, I said this a few days ago in my live, Trump is not a war president. He's not built for it. He already is erratic in his movements as it is right now currently. Right? Imagine this man in wartime having to deal with wartime decision making, and he's already erratic. Y'all, this is when you see in Second Esdras, I think it's either 13 or 15, I forgot which one, where it talks about there be insurrections and unstable leaders. Y'all about to see that now. We're there. All right, this is crazy.
Sides that it means. Side note, America First was used long before Trump came along. Campaign posters for Republicans used it starting in the mid-1800s. And before World War II, the America First Committee laid it out to prevent us from getting into foreign wars in Europe. So Trump didn't create it, of course. So what now? MAGA supporters are watching the man they voted for behave like another Bush-era warmonger.
Mm-hmm.
So does Trump truly want peace, or is he doing the bidding of neocons and warmongers? This is a defining moment, not just for Trump, but for the entire America First movement. The choice between him is clear. Follow the neocons into war, or return to the non-interventionist George Washington vision that got him elected in 2016, where he stood up to Jeb Bush.
Obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
One path leads.
So what are you doing now, Trump? So what's the plan now? You know, you see, it was a big giant mistake. We destabilized. You didn't just destabilize the Middle East. You destabilized the entire world with your guys' actions existing on it. But now you're going full hypocrite mode, and like I'm about to be over there with. Like I just saw. I mean, like I'm saying, like I saw stuff about Trump sending troops over there. I'm gonna watch that when I get off a live, which is gonna be pretty soon, because I gotta be up at 5. So. We're almost done today.
To destruction. The other leads to national survival. So that's the crazy news update part of today's video on this Father's Day. Now I want to talk to you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to everything we're just talking about. With the BRICS nations buying up as many precious minerals as they can, throwing their support right now behind Iran. This week, gold closed out the week at the highest ever level.
And he's pretty much going to get everybody to go buy his gold stuff. So, that's pretty much it for today, man. It's crazy. I just woke up to I know it was going live. Something's gonna happen. I'm going live. I saw that yesterday, and I was like, yeah, let's talk about that. It's just y'all got to realize, like, stuff's moving so fast. I literally could go live every day, just like you see Ariella. He's live right now. Rob's live right now. Various people, like, it's happening so fast that we all have a news article we can go into. And that's where we at right now, bro. If you playing a game like before the pandemic, you should have been playing games, but now playing games right now with the Father, it's not the time. It's not the time. It's not the place. you have no excuse at this point, right? That's why I said the last two words of this title is get ready. Get your ass ready. If you're not on the streets, get your butt on the streets, right? If you're not in the camp to do that, or you don't have any brothers near you can just go do the work with, right? Do something, right? Send alms to the prophets. Go find a camp. Go send them some food or something. Find a way, help them. The people who are actually doing the work, somebody who helps a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. Do that. Not everybody's meant to be in the army. Not everybody's meant to be a soldier, right? But what you can do is support. Not just us, but those who are here laboring, especially the ones you learn from, right? Also, just do better, right? I even say that to myself. Just do better. We all need to do better, right? Seeing how close we are to our salvation, like we don't have any more time. Like, but yeah, like before I get out of this, like, don't forget to like, share, like the video, man, if you love God, man. Share the video if you were edified. Leave a super chat, super thanks if it be on your heart. What else, right? If you don't want to give Esau your money, Cash App the Masada DTX. Got more videos coming up. Got a debate on Sunday coming up against Edomat. Y'all see that pretty shortly. Just stay tuned. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. Got a lot of different things. I'm gonna start going live a little bit more often, and not just on Wednesdays, right? So just stay in the loop. And don't forget to follow us on IG. I put a reel up on IG. Sorry, I got like 3 or 4. I got 3 or 4 in the chamber. I'm gonna let off on IG and TikTok. I'm gonna have more of a presence on there as well as time permits. But with that, I'm gonna say call halal Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai and Shalom.